Wake up, really gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Yo, set your affirmations, aspirations. I got shit to do, the aftermath of preparation. Good food, good mood, blood in circulation. One step at a time, yeah, that's how you make it. Set a goal you control and the steps you take them. I try to pick one thought, have some concentration. And if I make a mistake, it's called education. I try to do this every day, call it replication. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 So life ain't easy, yo, I think there's a reason though. Ups and downs, just like every different season, yo. Sometimes I'm high, other times I'm barely breathing, though. I always gotta fight and hide from the demons, yo. Negative thoughts are poison, they rot. Head full of flies, so here come the clouds. They'll never stop unless I can swap all the bad for the good in my head when I'm lost. Yeah, so I'ma fake it till I make it. Positive thoughts are overtaken, I got patience. One day at a time is how you operate a cadence. A flow, you grow, you show yourself a foundation. Stay away from all the shit that causes temptation. I know that I like to do it cause it's sensation. I live my life in my head like a narration. Don't expect greatness, do my best, man, I'll take it. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
Wake up, really gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
As you wake up in the morning, you want to find the latest, greatest information about criminal cases and have an intuitive conversation about the suspects associated with these cases. Head over to the Bullhorn Betty channel on YouTube. Get breaking news right here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club. Enjoy your stay and enjoy your day.
have our, whoa, I still got my stuff up. Okay, there we go. I think we're okay. If you guys don't know, I tore the whole entire OBS program down and rebuilt it yesterday. So our volume kind of is really loud because I forgot I adjusted the volume. And so when I did the live and I was doing our intro video, I was trying to turn the volume down and I couldn't turn it down. I'm like, what the hell's going on here? It's blowing my eardrums out. So good morning. I'm Bullhorn Betty. We're covering true crime. We're covering the case of Nancy Guthrie. Nancy Guthrie is an 84-year-old beloved mother and grandmother, and she's been missing. It looks like a home invasion, kidnapping, possibly ransom. We're going to be breaking down every single thing related to this this case. It's a sad case, and quite frankly, a very confusing and convoluted case. And it's not confusing. For the first time, I can honestly say the convolution and the confusion is not coming from mainstream media. Okay, folks? Usually it's mainstream media that is out here. You know, we have the hate channels start kicking up all this crap. You got, you know, people that are on the true crime trying to get information, legitimate information out. And it's this tug and pull between these hate channels, intentionally and willfully infiltrating bad information and misinformation out there in the real world, while everybody else is sitting here trying to put out as much information as possible that's legitimate and accurate and correct. So we've always stirred up this controversy in just about every mainstream, national or worldwide type of case. This one is worldwide, okay? There's a lot of people that know Savannah Guthrie with the Today Show, NBC, and for her, this to be her mom, everybody is just tuning in, period. Everybody is tuning in. And so this is kind of a worldwide case. Oh, thank you, John. Happy Valentine's Day to you, too. It's nice to see you. It's nice to see you. So we do have a few people. I just want to say thank you to all of my beautiful prayer angels. Sonia says, Lord, thank you for this new day. Please guide our steps, calm our hearts, and help us walk in your love, kindness, and patience. Thank you so much for that, Sonia. Always so beautiful. Always so beautiful. And then, of course, our Melanie. Thank you so much, Melanie. We love you. We love you. And happy Valentine's Day. Belated Valentine's Day. But I came on here live to tell everybody happy Valentine's Day yesterday, late at night from bed, because I realized I forgot to tell you guys anything all day yesterday. It was my fault, and I'm sorry. So Melanie says, happy Sunday, Betty, Delilah, mods, and chat, and I hope everybody has a good day. Much love to you, BHB. Prayers to whoever needs them. And don't forget to hit the like button for BHB, sending love to everyone. We have some of the best people here. Thank you. Always thinking of everybody. I love that. I love that. I love that. And then we had one more from John saying happy Thanksgiving. Happy Valentine's. Thanks. It's nice to see you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for everybody's love and support of this channel. It's nice to see you. So where are we now? Well, you know, we have talked about the pacemaker. And we've talked about its capabilities, we've talked about its incapabilities, and there's a lot of interesting stuff in things that we think we know about the pacemaker and things we don't know about the pacemaker. Obviously, they think this woman is somewhere nearby, and I would have to think so too. Something's going on here. It doesn't make sense. This case defies logic. We all are watching it. We're all watching it in real time. It's not something that's cut and dry by any stretch of the imagination. I can tell you I'm stumped. I'm absolutely stumped. I don't know which way to go with this case. Usually I have a direction. I can start, moving down the stranger danger theory, or we can start moving down, identifying a family member or somebody close to the family that we can start zeroing in on at this point, and maybe start, doing some, basically infiltrating their life, trying to find people that know them, that can talk about them, give us some insight about them, stuff like that. And for this case, we're not, at least for me, it's not clear to me. Justin, I mean, I don't know if it's clear for you. But my other content creators, I know that you guys study these cases regularly as part of your job. And for me, this case is not only defying logic, but I'm so confused, and for the first time, I don't feel like that confusion is coming from mainstream media or social media. I actually believe it is coming from law enforcement. I don't understand, usually law enforcement doesn't speak to us unless they have something probative or something to add, but they are usually always legitimate information. It's never, fly by the seat of your pants type of information. They're very, very, very particular about making sure that this, no clear whatsoever. Yeah, that's it. I mean, we're like right now, I'm looking at, a connection with the family. I'm looking at just a random punk in the neighborhood that likes to, creep in the middle of the night and rob whatever. I know that's so horrible. It's hot out there. That's another element Mike's reminding us of. It's awful. It's awful. And, but they're still going around and they're trying to still find her. And they're actually thinking that possibly they can use this pacemaker. Now remember, the pacemaker it doesn't have a GPS on it. Okay. Maybe they need to think about incorporating a GPS type of mechanism to a pacemaker, because let's face it, when your heart goes down and it's sending signal, shouldn't they know where you're at to send help? I mean, I'm just saying, maybe the manufacturers might want to look at this case and say, we might be able to help. We might be able to put a little thing. I mean, pacemakers are already an arm and a leg to have, you know what I'm saying? So if you're going to pay the money to have a pacemaker put in, why not to have a little tracker so if, your pacemaker goes down, they can send help. They know where you're at and they can send help like they do to your car in the OnStar system, right? I mean, it is a heart. Without the heart, you're not living. I mean, I would think that it's dire if something happens to you. It's important to get you help immediately. So there is that. So guys, interesting enough, we are learning some new information. But before we get started, we will go and, of course, start off with something a little goofier. So it looks like everybody is out trying to figure out what in the world is going on in our society. And, what did this person do? How did this person come about this backpack? This backpack is starting to be well known. So we've got this backpack here. It appears that it's at Walmart. It appears that this particular backpack not only is at Walmart, but is at Walmart behind a glass locked cabinet. So if he purchased it anywhere in that general area, that means he had to have come in contact with a Walmart associate to purchase that backpack. So I think, in all fairness, because Jonathan is the clipboard master, right? The missing person clipboard master, right? So I'm curious why he didn't go in there with a photo of, like Tommaso or his bandmate or, the sketch. Maybe somebody can get, maybe if he's watching or maybe if somebody is out there that can get into him, maybe tell him to go back to Walmart with the sketch of the dude. And go ask the Walmart staff, hey, yo, have you seen this guy? Did you service this guy? Did you get this this backpack out of this? Do you recognize this man? Do you know when he purchased anything? I mean, I would. I'm not gonna lie. Oh, I have my auto. Hold on, let me fix my. I replaced the system, so we got auto focus back on. I try to kick autofocus off. Let me adjust my camera real quick. Make sure it's calibrated. There we go. We turn the auto. I can't stand auto adjustment. It blurs my face sometimes when I move. I move around too much. See, I do this thing. My camera, my auto adjustment doesn't like it. So, at any rate. So we have this right here. So we got the backpack. We know what kind of backpack it is, but look what else Mike did. Mike actually went out there. Now, if you guys know, Mike, I was out in front of the Gabby Petito with Mike Ruiz. He also went to Walmart. He also identified an item. He also found the hip holster, the hip holster that was not holding that firearm very well. So as you can see, it's a very generic hip holster that was not designed for that particular model of weapon that was being used or observed in that footage, that Nest doorbell footage. I keep forgetting, you know, we're also used to saying Ring doorbell, right? And there's so many, there's Blink, there's Nest, there's probably, you know, a dozen different type of doorbell or, you know, video services for the house. But Nest door cam, you know, where we saw that this person had this gun, this firearm. Well, we found out it's a generic hip holster that it was carried in. So there you guys have it. It appears that the backpack came from Walmart. It appears that the hip holster came from Walmart. So it appears, I mean, at minimum, this person's a frequent shopper at probably the local Walmart. So I think the local Walmart and having a flyer or a sign that said, "Have you seen this person?" might actually be beneficial. I'm just saying. I don't know if that's happened yet. And now we're finding out, getting back to that pacemaker, this signal sniffer. Not lying, okay? I know. The people that make this technology is not very clever in the naming of their technology. I have to be honest with you. When I heard this, I'm like, what the hell is a signal sniffer? So if you guys got a little like smirk on your face when you heard, don't feel bad. Don't feel bad. A $10 backpack equals child labor. It probably does. I mean, I can tell you, I just ordered a bunch of stuff and I'm like, I was just talking last night. I'm like, man, my camera's not going to be here until March. And I'm realizing that's a long time away. And so I checked it this morning and guess what? I didn't realize I ordered my camera from China. So if you want to know why it's taking so blessed long to get here, and guess what? I didn't have to do that. There was other sellers here in the States for the product. So I've already purchased it. So now it's just a hurry up and wait type of situation, you know? Be careful where you purchase from. So I know we got a signal sniffer. Okay, this is pretty interesting though. I know it sounds funny and I know we're kind of, you know, being a little satire with it, but you know what? You signal sniffer. I like being a boil on the butt of a politician, but I'm not sure about being the sniffer. Okay, I'm just saying it.
Bob's Burgers, fresh ground meat, great atmosphere.
Just saying, not playing. Okay, don't tell me. I love buttons. I got buttons out the ass. All right, let's get back to our story. So this signal sniffer actually, you know, will it help? That's the biggest question of it all. Will it help? You know, I don't really care what something sounds like as long as it's going to be beneficial, right? And here we don't know if it will be beneficial, but I do believe that it's worth a shot, and it sounds like they're giving it a shot. And I'm glad that they're thinking outside of the box on what they can do. So let's see what the signal sniffer is.
Send that DNA to that private lab in
Can you
Florida,
guys hear that?
which specializes in touch DNA.
No, you can't.
And they can do a one-to-one comparison with the known DNA that they have and this person to see if it matches. What they cannot do is they don't have the ability to run it through CODIS. So it's going to have to go probably to the FBI lab at that point, so that we can keep this lab situation down to a manageable number. And then the FBI or the sheriff's department.
Are we echoing? I thought we were. Okay, I got to find. I redid the system, guys. Sorry, not sorry. But it looks like we have some minor issues we're going to have to work out. So maybe put this on monitor only. Can you guys hear it now? Hold on. So we had echo. No echo. We didn't have an echo. Can you guys hear? Hold on. 1, 2. I'm going to tell you now.
Can run it through CODIS, the national.
Okay, I'm having a major echo in my ear, and it's driving me nuts. So you guys do not have an echo. So I'm going to have to figure out my echo problem. And it's usually my audio, but I went and checked my audio settings. My audio settings appear to be good. So give me just a second. Let me find out. We've got off, off, off. We've got monitor only, mute, output. No, we got this. All right, no echo. Okay, let's try it again. I'm going to have to deal with an echo. You guys are probably not going to. I don't know where my echo is coming from, but I'll deal with the settings later.
National database for DNA, and then determine if that, you know, will hit with anyone else. But the DNA sample that the FBI is or that the private lab is in possession of, if they have sent it back to the lab, to the sheriff already, it's already in CODIS. If they haven't, then they're going to have to send it back to the sheriff or to the FBI to get it uploaded into CODIS and then compared.
Maureen, we've all seen the horrifying, frightening photos from the front of the house that the FBI was able to get off the Google Nest.
How many people actually believe that, do I have multiple tabs open? That's a good question. I don't think I do. I don't think I do. And these are blocked off. I don't think I do. No, it doesn't sound like I do. I had to go through this once when we set up the system once before. We had a lot of echoing and I had to work out the system. And I can't remember what that ultimately was. We worked it out. So I'm just going to deal with it with this live stream. And then once we are off, why do I have two little things going up? Hold on a second. Once I have the live stream out, excuse me, I got to fix my chat. We just lost our chat. Hold on a second. I forgot I refreshed. So give me a second. I got to pop our chat back out. There we go. Is our chat out? There we go. So anyways, what the problem is that we did this once. I set this up once before. It's not a big deal. I forgot to adjust or calibrate my volume, my sound before we went live. So anyways, we're going to keep going. We're going to keep going with this live despite it. We've got a signal sifter. For all the people that are just coming in, guys, we have breaking news this morning. They're attempting to do something I've never heard of. It's called the signal sifter, and they're trying to identify the pacemaker, the signal, the low range signal that's emitting from the pacemaker. The pacemaker is going to work whether her heart's working or not. So they're trying to find this signal sniffer, and they've attached it to a plane, and this plane is going over trying to identify if they can locate Miss Guthrie. Now, we don't know what condition she's in. Everybody keeps looking at this as if she's still alive. We're kind of in the middle. We believe at this point she may have lost her life, but we're going to hold out hope, and we're going to learn a little new stuff. So let's learn it.
Camera of the man, covered from head to toe. Do you think, and I've thought a lot about this, do you think someone else involved, and I don't mean just someone else to plan this thing, I mean someone else who was actually at the house that night and also went into the house to kidnap Nancy?
Great question. That is I think a lot of us have been on that vein. Is this something that has been going on, and has it been going on for a while? This is a great question.
Well, obviously we're not sure, but I would say it's probably likely there was someone driving the car. And the car could have been right there in the driveway. It could have been halfway through the circle driveway. We don't have the entire video. I'm sure the FBI has much more video. Did this person attempt to open the front door here? Did they have a key to the front door? Did they go around to the back door? Do we have that video? There's just a lot of unanswered questions, but for me, it would make a lot more sense if you had at least two people involved in this conspiracy and the other person was driving the vehicle.
Why do you think his backpack is so full, Maureen? It looks stuffed. I mean, what do you think could be in there?
Violent criminals, he's obviously got a proclivity to violence, and that's one of the questions when you're trying to analyze the offender of a situation like this.
How many of you guys have changed your position? Let's ask the audience. We've got about 900 people in chat right now. Why am I so blurry here? I keep my Zoom should not be. I still feel like I'm blurry. Hold on here. There we go. That might be better. There, I think I'm better. Did I look clearer? I felt like I was getting blurry. Anyways, guys, so what we have here is a situation where we originally had a story. Our story has changed quite a bit, in my opinion. Our story that used to be, possibly a family member involved that dropped her off at night has changed because we get to see the behavior of the assailant. How many of you guys were originally, this was somebody that was known to the family that has now changed your position? I just want to know who has changed their position from, we thought it was a family member, but now I believe it's a random act of violence. Who has changed their position to a random act of violence since the video come out? If you have, put a 1 in the chat. If you were always, it's associated with the family, I still believe it's associated with the family. Put a 2 in the chat. And then a 3, we're going to use a 3 because if you're so damn confused, you don't know which way is up or down, put a 3 in the chat. So 1, you still think that you have changed your position and believe it's a stranger danger. 2, you're keeping to your conviction that you believe the family is still involved. And 3, you are so damn confused you don't know which way is up. Okay, so we have 1s and we have 2s already rolling in. Okay, 1s, you guys have changed your positions. So a few people have changed their positions. A few people have not. A few people are confused as all get out. Okay. Yeah, well, we still have a very mixed bag of audience here. So we're not, and the reason why I do these polls is to see how aligned we are starting to get now that new details and evidence is coming out that we can, that we know is fact. So I just like to gauge you guys, and quite frankly, we're all over the place, folks. Oh my gosh, we're still all over the place. I know, Justin, I'm with you. I'm kind of a 3. I really am. I'm, if you guys are, Jamie decided to go with a 4. She's like, I'm out of here, Yeah, I smell a rat. Yeah, I know. It's so hard. No, I blame Katie Proudfoot. There you go, Claudia. I love that one. That's perfect. I blame Katie Proudfoot too. I blame Katie Proudfoot too. So, guys, I will be honest with you. I'm there. I'm a 3. I'm with all of you. I'm so confused. Okay, I know that some of you guys have changed your positions. Some of you guys have kept your positions the same, and some of us are just plain confused. She's still moseying. Yeah. But sorry, I didn't get it. I was trying to get that. So. It's hard in a situation like this, and I think, would it help? Let me ask this. Would it help if we pulled the notoriety out of it? Would that clarify things? Because I feel like maybe the notoriety of Savannah is clouding things for us. But maybe it's not, because I think that a lot of people feel she's the reason for this, her work as a journalist. Either with the Epstein files, like I've heard people, they've been, really getting into the conspiracy theories about her connection to the Epstein files, her connection to the Clintons. What does her and her husband know about the Clintons and the Obamas? There's a lot of political, stuff going on that we have to, serious stuff, like stuff that could wind people up in jail for the rest of their life or in front of a firing squad. Some of the words that they're using, whether that day ever comes or not, you're hearing a lot of very scary words in our country that we haven't heard, that we've only heard in history books prior to what we've been dealing with here recently. So, there is that aspect. And I do believe some people have I have heard that aspect as well. So even if it's not somebody affiliated with the family, somebody is saying, I still feel like it's affiliated with this family, whether it's anger, but a lot of people are bringing up now resentment. who would have resentment? And I know we brought it up because we brought it up and we talked about it, and we talked about it in conjunction with when we didn't see this assailant. This was when we all thought it was potential that Tommaso was the culprit. This was after Ashley Banfield's, bomb drop of the son-in-laws under criminal investigation. He's coming to the top of the suspect pool, and he's a suspect, right? That's what we heard. And so we were all looking in there and we were talking about resentment because, we even discussed here, if we strip all of this away, what are we looking at here? To me, we were looking at it before, remove the assailant, the masked gunman. This is pre-masked gunman. We were sitting here talking about this case and we were saying how this almost appeared DV related. I mean, think about it. All the women, this is just on the heels of Caitlin Harp. She was a beautiful mother that struggled here and there with substances, but was on the right track. And she was out there. She married this guy by the name of Vinnie Harp. And they were living their life. She was a mom and everything like that. Well, he was very violent with her. And he ultimately hurt her to death and loaded her up into this metal box and took her to an old property and just threw her off the back of the truck, slammed his truck in like park where it slid the box off and it went down the embankment, that type of thing. Well, we were looking at that. We were saying that. Well, you know what his excuse was? All of her stuff was there. She woke up in the middle of the night and ran away with some dude, right? So we've heard that story before. And now we're hearing about a grandma, all of her stuff there, the car keys, the wallet, the purse, we basically had envisioned, at least for me, I had envisioned her son-in-law going in there and attacking her and then going back there and cleaning it up. Well, that's not the case. She seemed that she did get inside the home, and she got inside the home safely. And it does appear that after 9:50, relatively everything around her house appeared to be normal up until we start seeing this masked gunman approaching her door, trying to evade the camera. He was head to toe masked. Why was he spending so much time on this camera is my first question. You would think he would just want to get in and get out, because every time he goes up to the camera, isn't that another trigger on somebody's phone? Isn't that another ding that somebody's at your door, or another movement on that video camera? Isn't it another ding every time you leave that camera and move back up to that camera? So it makes me wonder why he just didn't retreat from that area altogether and start going back to the back door, or start breaching the house in some other way so he could pretty much rule. That's what I'm saying. It's kind of this hard thing, John, because you're back and forth with this. I am too. I'm confused. I'm back and forth with this. It could be a perpetrator, but there's all these questions on why did he not do this and why did he not do that? And I also did that video on TikTok about that post about how they were talking the assailant's behavior. When you're looking at this behavior, what are you noticing out in front of this house? You're noticing he's casually walking around. He's grabbing some things. He keeps going up there to rip the camera off. My question is did he already incapacitate the victim inside the home, and maybe that's why he went out here and started messing with these cameras, because he had already heard her and he knew he needed to get her out. Now he needs to remove any evidence. We're only getting bits and pieces of what law enforcement wants us to see. They only put this out there to help us identify who this person was, because I don't think they know who this is. And I also find it funny that we have a gray truck, a gray pickup truck, that they're not giving us an idea of the make, model. We've heard about it. And then when they pick somebody else up and bring them down for questioning, they're pulling somebody over in a gray Range Rover, much different than a Range Rover is an SUV. It's a much different construction of a vehicle than a pickup truck. So Yeah, the rich areas, but homes are empty. Only that's what I was thinking, Mr. Dunham, is the possibility of this home being empty, and maybe they thought that nobody lived there and thought that this was a soft target just to go in there and rob, and then oh my gosh, a little old lady's here, and they've overtaken the lady, and maybe she's starting to have some problems that they can see, and they're like, oh good gracious, but we're used to, if something violent happens in the home, usually the assailant leaves the victim right there to perish. They don't typically throw them over their shoulder and take them out of the house. So there's a lot of weird behaviors here that aren't really attributed to your run-of-the-mill, home burglar. So again, if you are a 3, if you are totally confused, I understand why, because this does have resemblances of something a little more, and it does have resemblances of just random intruder. And none of this is making sense, because once you try to explain one, you're already defeating the point you're trying to make, because something else is here that says that it may not be somebody known. And then when you start looking at somebody not known, then you got something there that brings you back to it could be somebody known, you see? And so it's just been this tug of war, because we don't know, and we don't know who this person is. And quite frankly, they keep pulling over a whole bunch of people, and where has it gotten us? It seems like a whole lot of nothing. What were the purposes of pulling those people over? And if they really believe it's the people that they're pulling over, well, folks, we can look at the behavior of law enforcement and clearly see what can we see? They're not focusing on anybody associated with the family. These are all third-party, most likely criminals that are in their eyesight. That's the behavior of law enforcement right now. Before, the behavior of law enforcement appeared to be focused on the family. Maybe it's because they were working to clear the family or to hold the family accountable. They were going down that. But clearly something has happened in this investigation since the realization of this footage of this assailant. I've seen a different dynamic from law enforcement in this case. And if we look at this case, every person that they have pulled over and checked and took DNA from, the one thing you can definitely say about all 5 of these people is not one person was associated or attributed with this family or this house. So even law enforcement is starting to wrangle in this potential of an intruder. So an unknown intruder. So this is really, if you're a 3, I understand. If you're a 1 or a 2, God bless you, because at least you've got a made-up mind. I'm pulled between both sides, and those are the reasons I'm being pulled between both sides. But again, we're coming up to good news. The signal sniffer. Will this signal sniffer save the day? I don't know. I'm hoping that we can find something.
He's got a proclivity and a predisposition to violence because she was bleeding on the front steps when she left. So there's just no question there. That is an actual fact that we know. So, and he's got that gun on his waistband, but with regard to that backpack, could he have a tarp? Could he have restraints? Could he have tape? Those would be the things I would expect to find in something like that. He could have rope. Who knows? But this is why when municipal law enforcement officers pull people over and they see kits like this in their trunk, or burglary tools or whatever,
that's true. That may be what they were looking for and what they've been looking for.
Gives them probable cause to search or detain or even arrest.
And just real quick, Maureen, there's something I learned about that hasn't been reported yet. We saw a helicopter very low over Nancy's house and in the surrounding area the other day, and I'm told there was something called a signal sniffer on one of the skids of the helicopter, a very, very small box, like less than 7 inches long, that could actually detect Nancy's pacemaker. And again, I have not heard this reported before, but we were able to confirm it. And it just made me think about all the technology that the FBI is likely.
So you guys hearing that? Let's see if I can refresh this. Where are we? 347 on it. Let me just see if I can refresh it. I'm hoping that maybe I'll be able to refresh it and it'll kick that double audio. Good gracious.
That long. They're going to send the DNA.
It's not.
The sheriff is probably going to send that DNA.
That the FBI is likely using now that we don't know about. I mean, Is there AI involved? What else do you think other tools they may be using that we just don't know?
They'll be using every tool we have to try to bring Nancy home. With regard to this particular tool, I don't know, but I do know that the pacemaker sends off a very short distance alert or whatever. So they're going to have to get really close. How close were they to the ground?
They were close, Maureen. Yeah, that's what was so interesting when we saw the helicopter. They were so low, and we were all talking about it. Like, what are they doing? Why are they hovering so low in different spots around the yard? Come to find out, they actually had this signal sniffer sent in, special for this. It's like a special piece of equipment that had to be sent in, which it makes sense now why they were hovering so low. Maureen O'Connell, I always appreciate talking to you and your.
So as you guys learned, they have this signal sniffer. They're driving a little lower. They're scanning, and they're trying to pick up this scent from the pacemaker. OBS is. I'm trying to figure out what my audio means. You're monitoring your own audio. So to fix, go to advanced properties. Ensure your mic and desktop audio are on monitor only. That might be the reason. Okay, let me see. Sorry, I've got to adjust all this. My mic is monitor only. There we go. Yeah, let's not do that. I'll have to I'll figure it out. I'll have to play with the system after we're done. I'm not going to jack it up any further.
This is Drop Dead Serious. It is Saturday, February 14th. It's Valentine's Day. It is also 2 weeks.
It is now. Oh, yeah, that reminds me, folks. It is officially, we are rounding in our 3rd week. Today starts our 3rd week. Those black, hold on, what is it? Those black gloves. Oh, we need to go over. Thank you, Sonia, by the way. Thank you, because I'm a love machine. Thank you. Sonia gifted 5 Bullhorn Betty memberships. If you received your Bullhorn Betty memberships, and I am going to read those folks to you. We have Ruby, Downey, Nanny Goat. It's nice to see you. Caitlin and John. Welcome to this crazy family we call the Coffee Club, i.e. the Insane Asylum. Grab your straitjacket in your padded room and welcome aboard.
All I can say is it's totally fake news. It's just fake. It's fake. It's made up stuff.
It's made up stuff over here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Okay, and then getting us to the next person. Thank you for that, Sonia. And thank you for your $10 super sticker. I appreciate that. We'll get to those. Thank you for the prayer over the channel as well. Those black gloves are used at restaurants. She used to go with her daughter to famous restaurants in Tucson, Arizona. They knew she was famous. Good point. Good point, Hurley. Good point. That is true, because I know my best friend, and her son's a chef. My cousin's a chef. And I know that they use nitrile gloves or other types of gloves for their preparations. My cousin, he's a chef. They don't use gloves. When you're a world traveling chef, you don't use gloves. You wash your hands. And you use white everything. If anything even has a mark on it, it goes in the garbage. That's just how it rolls. But yes, that's a good point, though. Line chefs, cooks, and stuff, people at restaurants absolutely use those. People that work on cars absolutely use those. I know I use nitrile gloves here in my house because I can't. I don't even know if it's a phobia or I can't stand meat under my nails. Anything else, I don't care if it's, I can, whatever. I can't stand meat under my nails. I feel like no matter how much I clean my hands, I just don't clean the gunk under my nails good enough So it's meat. It's my hands being in meat. It's just a phobia I have. It's nothing more than my nails. I like to have my nails clean. I like to know they're bacteria free. Okay. If you notice, I've got a lot of little things, little ticks about me where I'm always constantly, my hands have to be clean and my nails have to be disinfected. Okay. So if I'm doing burger or I'm doing any type of meat preparation, that's going to require, juice or meat stuff getting under my nails, I wear gloves. Okay. Just to throw that out there. I wear gloves. So any type of boot. So I agree with you. I agree with you on that this is definitely, hey, shits and giggles. It's been a while. My garbage truck workers wear them. Ooh. Interesting. Not that we want to accuse garbage men of doing it, but we are trying to find somebody that's very familiar with the area. I would think a garbage man would be familiar with the area. We're not even thinking about things like that. But let's get back to this whole pacemaker. We've only got about 50 more minutes before we've got to end this live. And we kind of started it a little late, but I know a few of you guys are going to church, so I want to make sure we get you off to church on time.
Since anyone last saw Nancy Guthrie alive after she was dropped off following a dinner with her family members. And after 14 days, you can imagine that people are upset. They are frustrated. They have followed every moment. I'm sure you have.
All right, guys, let me ask you this. I'm gonna change one setting on this, and I want you guys to tell me whether you guys can hear it or not. If you can't hear it, that's fine. If you can hear it, let me know. Did you guys hear that? I'm trying to make sure that you guys could hear it going, because if you didn't, then I've got to go back to the other setting, and it didn't take the echo out anyways. So I'm going to go ahead and take it back to the second setting it was. No, you guys couldn't hear it. Okay. All right. So I'll take it back to the setting. It didn't help the echoing, so I'll have to figure out the echoing. It's not echoing on your end, I realize, but it's echoing in my ear and it's driving me nuts.
84-year-old grandmother and get away with it. That's how most people feel, and I'm sure that members of law enforcement feel the same way. Guaranteed they know more than we do, however. On this episode tonight, I've got somebody just fantastic. I mean, God, Maureen O'Connell has always amazed me, right? She looks like she's this pretty delicate little flower, and she's one tough lady. She spent 25 years in the FBI as a special agent, and she knows her shit. I had this incredibly detailed conversation with her about specifics, about facts in this case and specifics, and she weighs in on stuff she hasn't said elsewhere and other people haven't said either. Really interesting stuff. Also, did you hear that there is now a signal sniffer that's entered the story?
The signal sniffer, I like that. The signal sniffer has entered the story, okay? The signal sniffer has entered the story. Caitlin says, the Amazon package interested me, that the intruder came to the door and they wouldn't have known if Nancy was going to Amazon, walk up to her front door. It was said this Amazon was. I did see the Amazon package when Brian Enton went up to the door. The Amazon package interested me, that the intruder came to the door and they wouldn't have known if Nancy was going to have Amazon walk. Well, it's 2:00 in the morning. But I know that I've had packages dropped off at my house at 4:00 in the morning. I've gotten notifications from my camera at 4:30 in the morning, and you could see an Amazon driver dropping off a package at my front door at 4:00 in the morning. So we did see a package at her front door. Let me process that for a minute. But yeah, I think you might be onto something. Yeah. All right.
interesting because Matt Murphy and I talked several days ago about figuring out some way to get Nancy Guthrie's phone to sort of fly over houses within 30 feet because it might reconnect to her pacemaker. Pacemakers don't die. They don't go away. Even if she's alive or dead, the pacemaker's still going. The signal sniffer apparently is supposed to do that job. I'm going to go into detail about the signal sniffer. And one thing that I don't understand about
this is pretty interesting. Signal sniffer seems far. It does. I gotta be honest with you, John. The signal sniffer, in all fairness, is in my opinion, it's far fetched. But let's talk about the reality of even the helicopters. What is the reality of a helicopter in their infrared actually finding a person? They have found them, so we know that they do work and they have done it. But they're not very good on high dense areas. Why? Because the brush and the trees block the signal from getting down and penetrating the ground. So in theoretic, it's only useful. Even helicopters are only useful about 5% of the time. Very, very low numbers, right? But every time a child goes missing, guess what they put up in the air? The first thing they put up in the air almost is a helicopter, right? Even though it's only 5% effective. So even though this is far-fetched, let's be honest. If this is what they've got, I mean, it's a Hail Mary, right? There have been Hail Marys that have worked out. So, I'm all about thinking outside of the box. I'm all about trying something. I mean, you never know unless you try, right? If you don't try, it's 100% it's not going to work. I mean, at least if you try, you got a 50-50 chance. At least in my calculations, you got a 50-50 chance. Is this going to work? Is it not going to work? Listen, I don't know. I don't know if it's going to work or not. I hope it does. Man, how crazy would it be if this signal sniffer, like I said, I get choked up. I get tickled. I get tickled pink over this signal sniffer. It just sounds so dirty. I'm sorry. We got dirty minds over here on the Bullhorn Betty channel.
The method that they're using. So it's a bit weird, but I will get to that in a second. Also, big question for you. If you were up with me until 4 o'clock in the morning last night.
Ooh, you're probably right.
I appreciate the company. But also, I kept thinking to myself, as vehicle after vehicle kept entering the perimeter, dozens of federal and local law enforcement vehicles, SWAT vehicles, forensic vehicles, FBI vehicles, marked, unmarked, sheriff's deputies, all the rest. I kept thinking, there's a lot of vehicles. There's a lot of manpower. There's one guy. There's one guy who, albeit dangerous, got that. But
we don't know if the guy's dangerous. I mean, he was driving around in a Range Rover. I mean, do you really think people riding around in Range Rovers are dangerous? That's not my first thought of somebody. Pacemakers do not have Wi-Fi. They don't. They only emit a low range signal. That's it. And again, I think it goes with John's statement that he thinks it's far-fetched. I believe it's far-fetched because I don't think they're going to be in range. And I do. Who's the one? Yeah, who's the one that said drone? And now I see Mr. Dunham, but somebody said a drone would be better. And I truly believe a drone would be better because a drone can fly lower. It's smaller. It would probably, just spitballing here. I think a drone would be more appropriate, and it's because it gets lower. I mean, the technology needs to be as close as possible. I don't see how a helicopter or a plane is going to get that close. They need something. I agree with you guys. They need something more on the lines of a drone versus a helicopter or plane. I agree with you. That would be mine. Many people driving Range Rovers aren't worst of us, right? Like there's like the dangerous person because I've got a problem with the way that they're manhandling these questions. Like I feel like, listen, I'm major pro law enforcement, so I don't have problems with the interrogation tactics. I don't have problems with making people rattling trees and shaking trees and seeing what nuts fall out. I don't mind that, but. This approach, I just don't think is beneficial right now because usually I'm accustomed to law enforcement, especially the first contact, just finding out what's going on, law enforcement going and knocking on the door and saying, look, you guys came up in a conversation. We got a search warrant here. We're going to need to get you guys out of the house. We're going to have to search your house. And then ask them questions. You know, I find that having a friendly approach at the first, I mean, sometimes you need to go into an interrogation room and slam your hands down and point your finger in somebody's face. But 90% of interrogations are not like that. 90% of interrogations are what we're doing here. We're just having conversations, and, you know, we're presenting information. And then when somebody lies, you're presenting the information, the counter information, and saying, well, you know, it's kind of funny. You're saying that you were here, but I've got you on film here. Can you explain that? And just really just corralling them in until they get to a point where they're ready to, you know, ready to speak. Sometimes you got to get rough around the edges. Sometime after that point, when you found out that you've been lied to, then you kind of go in there a little bit stronger and say, look, you lied to me, you know, and then you start hitting your hands and start acting all, right? And then start bringing in the SWAT team to go drag your ass to the interrogation room. Then you pull that in. Then you shake that tree like that. I don't know. You know, I don't want to tell. Obviously, I'm not in law enforcement. I have a lot of friends that are in law enforcement. I have people I've known from retired FBI to retired CIA. I've talked to a lot of people over my years, not just with true crime. This is even prior to true crime, prior to me even being in this. I'm a political activist. And so I've already been around politics for a really long time, over 10 years prior to coming to true crime. Seems like with me being in politics 10 years ago, I should have been in true crime a lot sooner, but, you know, it took me a little while to get over here, right? And realize that that the reason why we have all the stuff we're doing here is because of our politics, right? You can see when we have good politics, we have low crime. When we have horrible politics, we have high crime. So our government absolutely is the responsible party in all of this, okay? Criminals will be criminals. They're doing their jobs just right. It's whether law enforcement is doing their job and locking the criminals up, which I'm saying probably not happening so much. So at the end of the day, we are here, right? And we see the best and the best of law enforcement, and we see the worst and the worst of law enforcement all across this country. And you know, I would say that the worst law enforcement I've seen in everything that I've ever seen is in Tennessee. The majority of all of our problems is Tennessee law, Tennessee work. I mean, Summer Wells is a good example. Summer Wells, Sebastian Rogers. Horrible. It's ingrained in their education there. Okay, their leadership sucks. Their training sucks. We've even found trainers, you know, signing off on training that wasn't done. You've got people getting arrested for DUIs that they've never committed. You got innocent people going to jail all over the state of Tennessee, and they're still scratching their elbows and winding their butts trying to figure out what's going on. It's lack of training. It's lack of training. But here we are in Arizona, and I've got to be honest with you. The Arizona, how this is working is starting to feel a lot like Sebastian Rogers in a sense, because you've got the sheriff that's over his head, doesn't want to act like he's over his head because he's too pompous to acknowledge that he's over his head. He doesn't want to hand the case off because he doesn't want to look like he doesn't know what he's doing, right? And then we have a situation when they have no answers and they can't explain the horrible work that they're doing. They decide to shut everything down and not answer any questions because they don't want to be put under a microscope, right? They're cowards, and I don't like that. Law enforcement has public information officers to keep the public engaged and to keep the public informed. And when you have an entire department like Tucson and Pima County just clamming up, it makes you wonder why. It's because they are, in my opinion, I think they dropped the ball and they don't want to answer to it. They don't want to have to answer to their mistakes until they have somebody in custody. It's just that what we find out is their mistakes usually cost them their person in custody. And that's what we're dealing with in Sumner County with Sebastian Rogers' case, because if that case was in Florida, the stepmother, or the mother and the stepfather would be in jail right now, period. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. So don't tell me that if somebody can be in jail in Florida, they can't be in jail in Tennessee. Okay? It's the same type of laws. different stuff, but the same type of laws. They function the same way, and they're not acting the same way. So this is kind of going to that Sumner County stuff. And I got to be honest with you, Sumner County, in my opinion, is the worst of the worst. Okay. And so now, is this going to be the worst? Is this going to take first place of Sumner County? I don't know. It's starting to look like that. We both have vulnerable victims in both of these cases. One's a 15-year-old autistic boy in Sumner County, and then we have a frail, pacemaker grandma in Tucson. Yes, thank you, Cynthia. Praying for Nancy, still holding on to hope. Amen to that. Still holding on to hope. Amen to that. Amen to that.
People have made a joke of him. They don't know what he's doing. He's kind of a dope. Some people have even said that the way he carries his gun is called a Mexican carry. Never heard that before, but that it is not professional. And
yeah, we know the way that the whole, and I got to tell you, there was a time where he holds his gun, where he grabbed his, adjusted his firearm. And I tell you, that adjustment, you know what it reminded me of? It reminded me of somebody that is adjusting their tool belt. Because tool belts have usually a hard metal buckle. And sometimes because I used to work construction, so I know this. And I could tell you that I've always had to adjust my belt. And that metal bar on my belt. And when I saw that position where he adjusted that gun in that, it reminded me of how I adjust my work belt for my tools, my tool pouch. If you guys want me to show you, hold on. Stay put. I'm gonna go grab my tool pouch. So here's the tool pouch, right here, okay? It's kind of empty because I've got a bag that I put my stuff in because I don't really use a tool pouch because I'm not on a job anymore. But this right here goes around you. And so you got a hard metal buckle right here. And so when you have it on, sometimes you need to adjust it. You need to move it up. And it was the way he adjusted it that I felt like this was where he was adjusting his tool pouch. And so I'm thinking that he at least has some type of construction or pouch wearing job, where you have the pouch. And another thing is a security officer, because they also have the same type of situation because they still have a belt. Cute. I'm a rough, tough cream puff. What can I say? I do a lot of stuff. I wear a lot of hats. But at the end of the day, you've got this adjustment, and that adjustment seemed like he wore a tool pouch, a pouch of some sort, some type of band for work, because you have that adjustment. It's the way the hand went it's almost like, when you have a cop, you can always tell even when they're off duty, because they always seem like they feel like they have all their equipment. So they hold their hands like this, right? Like they're holding it's the reach. Yeah. It's about as identifiable as their walk, or whatever that is. What do they call it? I don't know. Anyways, so I noticed that, and it just rang to me, and I'm like, he's had a pouch on of some sort. So it's either a tool pouch, or it's one of those security officer belts or something like that, but it's a belt type thing. And I truly believe pink. Well, I had black and fuchsia work steel-toed boots. Like, when I'm on the job, I'm I'm definitely a girl on the job, but I'm also a tomboy on the job. Like, you don't want to get in my way. And you definitely don't want me moving you out of mine. I'm just saying. I so that's where I'm going. It's either a construction worker or maybe a security officer or something like that. That could be, and it might be somebody. In my opinion, I really do believe this person lives nearby because it's the vehicle. They should have this vehicle should have been speeding away. That's what caught Brian Koberger, right? His little white Elantra speeding away, and so we should have had this speeding away type of thing out of that community if they didn't live in that community. And it, to me, sounds like we didn't have that. And to me, it sounds like we have something else here. And so when you look at that community and you look where the out exits are on either side of that community, I know Ashley Banfield said there's only one way in and one way out. That's not true. That is absolutely not true. These roads wind and twist all together. You have little V's here, little V's there, and then you just go here, 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 and you just work your way all the way over to the other side of that community in those back roads, and then you have another wide mouth, 4 or 5 lane, that takes you on out of that community. It's huge there. I don't even know how many acres that area is or that community is, but that community is huge. And it all strings together. It all winds together. Okay? And the reason why I'm telling you this is because I think that the person does live there. I think that they should have been able to identify the vehicle if the vehicle wasn't there and didn't belong there. I think that should have been one of the easiest things to identify. If a vehicle doesn't belong there, because I think that was one of the hardest things to identify when Michael Monkey Vaughn disappeared from Fruitland, Idaho. If you guys go back and check that out, it's because the people that abducted him lived in the community. So the car was known to be in that community. The car was known to be moving around about that community around that time. So as far as an opportunistic abduction, that's what happened in Michael Monkey Vaughn, a 5-year-old little blonde hair, blue-eyed boy out of Fruitland, Idaho, disappeared like 45 days after Summer Wells on July 27th, 2021. Never been seen or heard from since. Stacy Wandra is in jail facing trial. They believe him, his wife, and 2 of his friends abducted Michael. And it was just an opportunistic, he happened to be out as they were driving by and they pumped the brakes, and I mean, it's insanity. So just to put that into perspective.
This is like how you would respond to Ted Kaczynski, Anyway, I'm going to ask Maureen about that. She's got something interesting to say about it. And then also the sheriff has some new statements. I'm going to read those for you.
I agree,
a little
John.
bit of everything, including, you know what? Strap in, pour a drink. It's going to happen a lot. Very interesting. What we saw last night and in Rio Rico is going to happen a lot. He said it's going to happen more than once. So I will read that for you so that you hear it word for word. New York Times had a really interesting story.
I'm not going to go in there.
About the
I just wanted to go into, let's find out what this signal sniffer is. All right, let's read a little more about this signal sniffer. So the signal sniffer is a hardware or software tool designed to monitor, capture, and analyze radio frequency network packets or electromagnetic signals. These devices are used for troubleshooting, cybersecurity analysis, and specialized tracking, such as identifying specific Bluetooth or radio signals from devices like pacemakers or trackers. Interesting. So they are designed for the pacemakers specifically. Check the last thing in the mod chat. Thank you. Give me a second. I'm checking mod chat. What do we got? Mod chat. I forgot to check mod chat this morning. I am so sorry, ladies. I am so stinking sorry. Looks like a car in the driveway at Nancy Guthrie's house. Ooh, let's look at this. Oops, let's not email it to me. No, I don't want to email it. I want to send it to my computer. Here we go. This is interesting. This is interesting. There may be a vehicle identified in the driveway. Ooh. Winner, winner, chicken dinner, y'all. Looks like we might have a winner, winner, chicken dinner. Can you guys see that? Let me move it up. Oops. Hold on, let me move it up just a tad bit. There, you guys see that? Look at that. Huh. Yeah, folks, it looks like we might have a winner, winner, chicken dinner. It looks like there might be a vehicle. Now let's go to the assailant.
With that said, I want to bring.
Rewards do help. They, like I said, they create.
I'm not trying to see that. I'm trying to see behind them. There we go. Okay, hold on. Let's get them out of the way. They move right when I need them to not to move. What the flip? Okay, no. Let's go to a different one. They move it right when I need to see that. Does anybody have the original footage of the masked man? Is it on the FBI? FBI. Let's see. Where did the video come from? Let's move this down. Where did the video come from? There's the video. Copy link. Okay. Okay, here we go. Here's the original. This is one of the clips. So that means there's got to be more than this one. All right, here we go. All right, let's blow this one up. All right, let's see what we got here. Let's see what they got there. Hold on. Sorry, we're just trying to put some. Okay, so it's over there. So it'd be over there. So it'd be over here. So let's roll this up. So it should be. Damn it. Should be right there. I think they're right. It should be right here. Right there. I do see something. I do see something. So they're saying that that's a car, and they've been able, and those look like nice spokes too. So it's saying, I do see something there. I do see something there. I don't see the vehicle. I do. It's very vague. What they've done is they've used filtration. I'm gonna have to blow this up. They're using filtration, but see what I'm using is this. Oh, you can't see what I'm on right now. Hold on here. Let me back this back up. You can't see it. Hold on. Sorry, I blew it up. I probably should have put this on 2 different ones. That's what I'll do. I'll put it on 2 different ones. We'll look at it. Let me pull this out. I took this way big. Okay, let me put this in 2 different screens so we can see it side by side. Okay, so here's this one. This is our main one. So let me figure out where I want to put my main one. I think we'll put our main one on the right. And we'll put our secondary screen on the left. That's what we'll do. If I need to switch them, I will. Not a big deal. All right. So let's put this over here above my head, and then we'll blow it up as needed. Let's take our secondary screen. Let me pull this spot out. Let's pull this out. There. Nope. Let's pull this out. Okay. I got this pulled out. Separate views. Okay, somehow it keeps getting in this double view thing that I don't like. Okay, so now we're going to get this one back there. We're going to get this one up for our second screen. Give me just a second while I prepare our second screen. Which one is this called? This is called Seeking Information. Okay, Seeking Information. There we go. Okay. There we go. So we'll get this. Give me a second, guys. We're preparing this so we can do some research on this. All right. All right. So this right here, this is what I'm focused on right here. This has been filtered. So what they do, I because I deal with photo, I'm out in the field. I deal with a lot of images. I deal with a lot of filtration of images and stuff like that, lighting and stuff like that. So what they've done is they've identified an area they wanted to look at. I'm seeing a reflection in the unfiltered image. So I'm looking for this lighting right here, and I am seeing this lighting right here on this image. You can very faintly see it because we have not filtered this image yet. So I am seeing the light source, this reflective nature on this one right here. I am seeing this reflective nature on this car right here in the unfiltered film. So it is telling me this has been filtered. This is why this image here, right here, looks different than this image right here, because they are using filtration systems. They're using filtered. So as you're seeing, it's a much more sharpened image than what's over here on the left. Right up here, you got a sharper image. So somebody took this image, they put it into an image processing, just like any type of Apple and used filters. And what they did is they toned down the shadows and enhanced the brights. And so you have a more crisp, clear, clean image. And then they are able to now start looking at any oddities in that image and then pulling that image to the surface by removing removing some of the shadowing and enhancing some of the lighting, or removing some of the brights and enhancing some of those shadows. And so as you start working with that filtration process, it's amazing what starts lifting to the surface from some of these images. And so now this is what we're left with. This does look like I can see the reflection right here in the original image. It almost blends in with the foliage out in this footage, but you can see this right here. And if you can see that right there, well, then you're seeing this right here. And as you can see, there is, once the enhancement is you can see a physical tire here. You can see it's almost like an SUV. This might be the reason why they pulled over that SUV, folks, because what I'm looking at here is not a gray pickup truck. This looks like an SUV. Now let's go back and look at that Range Rover. I don't know, guys. These tires look very similar. I don't know. Those tires. Look at those tires. Check your email. Check your email. I don't understand. Oh, you're saying the image created. Are you trying to send who needed me to check my email? Is it for Danny? Because I'm not seeing anything else. Sure does look like an SUV. It does. It does. Let's get back to hers. I put this on here. Let me put this on the other one, on the other tab. Hold on a second. I'm gonna have to get this. Damn it. That's not what I wanted. That's not what I wanted. I don't, what is up with this splitting the view and putting two views and, okay, let me remove this. Okay. I do not want, I don't know how this keeps doing this, but it's like every time I try to pull this down, I guess I'm gonna have to pull it over, and it still does it. It keeps putting it into two different, this is insanity. Okay, let me move it over to the other side, the other screen completely. Good gracious. Every time I did anything to that, it would combine two tabs together. I didn't know what the hell we were doing. All right, here we go. This is what I was trying to get to. Okay, there's the look at this. Look at that. I'm sorry, folks, but let me move this over just now. Oh, I got to put this down a lot. Hold on a second. We gotta stretch this out. I think we now know why they pulled over the Range Rover, folks. Folks, I really do. I think we now know why they pulled over the Range Rover. Look at that. This has the same angle in the front of the freaking car, too. Are you guys seeing that? Look at this. Look at the angle. Look at this position of the front of this car. Look at this. Look at that. Look at the other one. Look at this. Look at you can almost see the V. Look at those big Oh, I'm in the wrong area because it's over the other one. So, oh my gosh, guys, I think this might be the reason why. Hey, Sammy, welcome to this crazy family we call the Coffee Club, i.e. the Insane Asylum. Grab your straitjacket in your padded room and welcome aboard. Welcome aboard. I think we know now why they pulled over the frickin' Range Rover. Folks, it looks like a Range Rover's in her driveway. Look at that. Same light reflection wheels as well, too. Yes. Now, there are other vehicles that do have the makeup of the Range Rover. As many of you guys know, it was a popular body style. And, oh my goodness. You guys, hold on. Let me take the chat screen off. Hold on. Give me just a second. I'll put it back up. Let me take the chat screen off. Look at that. Look at that. Can you guys see that well? If you can't, go to your computer and blow it up and look at it. I think this is important here. Guys, we have we have a little over 1,100 people in chat. Please don't forget to hit the thumbs up button on your way in or your way out, folks. I send it to you. Thank you, me and you. I appreciate it. Thank you, thank you. I think I see someone running. I don't see anybody running, but I think we now understand why they picked up this car. This is interesting, folks. I think we might have something. Justin, you need to do some research. I know you're going to be doing a live here a little bit. You might want to look into this angle. Let me go ahead and send this over to Justin so he can start looking at it. Wow, this is interesting. Yeah, the car. Where was this taken at? Where was that taken at? Oh, that's right, mod chat. Hold on, let me find this. Let me send this over to Justin. Forward. Justin. There you go. All right, there. That's interesting. This is going to be, I think this is something. Folks. I think they are looking for does the front V, I don't know what that means, Jamie. Front V a bit. Does the front V a bit? Yeah. You can see it in this right here. I'm touching both photos at the same time. It looks like, I'm sorry, we got two things up on the same screen, but I'm glad it happens to be hitting both of the areas at the same exact time. But look at your screen. I didn't mean for it to turn out this way, but it looks like this right here. It looks like the Ving in the front. Look at those tires. Look at those tires right there. These tires, it's kind of crazy how they're all lining up with my mouse, but you know, this is insane. Well, we can't tell. I mean, I can understand why they're doing a gray car, because it's been my understanding that when you have night vision, it's kind of opposite. So if you have something that's dark or appears dark, it could be light or reflective. So, I don't know. Some of the whites turn white on night vision, and some of the other whites are gray, and some of the other whites are blacks, and the blacks or whites are gray. So it really does depend on the technology being used. Put it on the front of the car as well as it looks. Yeah, I still can't see the car. Okay, so let me blow this one up first. Hold on. Give me a second, guys. We'll blow this one up. Okay, here's the car. See it? Look at it. There's the car. And you can kind of see right here the V-ing of the front. You can see the tires, the tires right here, right? And then you go over here to the Range Rover that they took in the photo over there. And you see the big old black tires on this, and you kind of see the V'd, let me see if I can get this, and you see the V'd part here on the front. I've got, let me see if I can do this a different way. Let's see if I can do it. Let me just put this over here so we're not running. Oh, when I move it, it moved. Okay. Let me change this real quick and change the properties. Okay. Yep. When I move it from one side to the other side, it does not. Okay, let's get back to. Okay, now can we get back to seeking information? It will not put it back up on the screen. All right, so I guess I'm going to have to go back over here with it. Okay. So it's going to make me put it back over here. So there's no way I can really do this unless I line these up. But here's the front of the V here on the Range Rover and the tires. And then when we go to this one, here is the tires over here and the V here in the front of this other one. I know you're seeing it on the Range Rover, but look at the one with the red circle around it. So I've got two screens that are on top of each other. That's why you're seeing my mouse pad. So I'm going to try to line these up together because I liked it when they were together. There we go. When I can circle them both together. There we go. All right. So you guys see that now, right? If you guys see the car in the driveway, raise your hand or put, yeah, let's do, what are we on? 4s and 5s. 4s and 5s. If you see the car in the driveway, in this image circled above my head, put a 4 in the chat. If you still do not see it, put a 5 in the chat, just so I can gauge my audience. But I think we're finally uncovering why they pulled. Oh, crap. We're out of time, folks. I just realized it's almost 9 o'clock. So hopefully you guys saw this. I hope that you guys got some stuff out of this today. If you did, please don't forget to hit that thumbs up button, because this is the type of information. This was all on the fly. This is all from you guys. And this is the type of information that needs to get out to the folks out there. If you guys could be sure to get the Coffee Club credit for, I mean, obviously somebody else found this, and the person's name was Darlene, Ginger Bean, Georgia. Thank you so much for your work, Ginger Bean, Georgia. But we're breaking it here on social media, and that's a courtesy of my moderators. So thank you, moderators, that have been watching everything and keeping us informed. But I think this might be exactly why this Range Rover is so important. Look at what we're finding. Guys, we need to be going back to these images. There's more in these images. Is there another person? Is there another person? Could somebody be traveling around the country, staying in Airbnbs and jacking houses? It's possible. It's absolutely possible. Maybe that's the reason why they haven't been caught, is because they're staying at Airbnbs where there's no record of them. They're robbing in the middle of the night and then they're leaving the place. I don't know. I don't know. Is there more possibilities here? There might be. But we're starting to uncover the truth little by slow. So guys, come back later this afternoon after church. We're going to have a new show. Obviously got a new topic of conversation. This car. Is this a Range Rover? It seems like they are looking for Range Rovers, even though they've got us looking for a gray pickup truck. Just something for you guys to take into consideration. Rock it out with your coffee beans out. Don't forget to be fearless. If you see something, say something. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. And if you felt you learned something from this show today, please give me a thumbs up and consider sharing it out there on your social media platforms. Guys, stay safe, stay vigilant, and stay and show kindness to one another. God bless you.